for me, it's always been I catch up to the team wherever they go. There have been charters that I've been part of when the team would play in the Champions League or something like that, and playoff games. One thing I've always noticed is, for me, I like to pay attention to people. It's almost like watching people at an airport. Airports, to me, are the best people watching you can ever get. But I like to pay attention to the people, and you learn a lot, not by what they're saying, but just their body language around. And the one thing I noticed from the Galaxy is their camaraderie, that they're always together. Unfortunately, and during the bad times, you see little tribes, right? And for most of the parts, when I'm around the Galaxy, I see a unit that's together. And that puts a smile on your face, like a proud uncle, in that regard. And on the road, I mean, I've had an opportunity to announce some of the iconic stadiums around, the original Soldier Field. We did a couple of games there, including the 2001 Western Conference Final, where the Galaxy got the goal from Mauricio Cienfuegos and led them on to the championship game in Columbus against San Jose. The 99 final, the first one we were able to do, Rick and I. 01, it was real cold and we were outside in Columbus because there was no room in the press box. 2002, we were actually behind the goal that the play went forward from. So I'm looking behind Carlos Ruiz when he scores the goal. I remember the first game that David Beckham came onto the pitch against Chelsea. They were going nuts here.
He wasn't healthy that day either.
No, he was. He should not have been out there at all. But he went out there and got it done. As much as David tried to be normal around the team on the road, you know, and I've described this many times on the air with others, David's like the Beatles. And it didn't matter. As soon as somebody would eye him, they would see him, there would be a crowd coming after him.
Multiply quick.
And I think David really put in a strong effort to be one of the guys. And I admire that a lot. Always cordial, always classy, always a gentleman. And that's one of the things I liked about David Beckham, although you never had a chance to really talk to him just because of the fact that he's in a different stratosphere for his life. And that was not because he would look down at you. It's just kind of how it turned out to be. But I think he did everything he could to make it as normal as possible. And I like that about David. David also forced Major League Soccer and the Galaxy to raise their level of sophistication in play. David spoke a certain language of soccer, and there was a roster around him of not enough players that spoke the same language. Certainly, Chris Klein, you mentioned, could be on the field with David, but Chris, unfortunately, at that time was pretty much at the end of his career. Kobe was at the end of his career. Landon was right in his prime, but the other guys around him on that roster just could not be part of Major League Soccer. And in fact, you saw most of those players after 2009 were not Major League Soccer players anymore. They fell out of the league. And that's what David did, and he opened the door. He opened the door to Robbie Keane, Thierry Henry, and those players that came in. And even Ibrahimovic, he mentioned in his introductory press conference, David Beckham was one of the guys that convinced him to come to the United States. What David did was raise the profile of the league immensely. What David did is he showed us the art of passing the ball and how good you can be. He showed us what you can do on a set play and corner kicks, how they should be taken on a regular basis. That's what David showed us on the field of play. And what he brought to this league was everything off the field. And, I liken it almost to what Wayne Gretzky did to the Sun Belt for hockey. I don't know that we are where we are in Major League Soccer today if AEG doesn't step up and bring a player like David Beckham to the United States to bring the spotlight on the United States, and therefore bringing other billionaires to say, yes, I'll put a team in this city and I'll build a soccer-specific stadium and all this other stuff. Everything opened up, in my opinion, because of David Beckham, and maybe others that are much higher than me would say, no, this was in the works anyway. But from a fan standpoint and a broadcaster standpoint, that's what I see.